Hey folks, it's Dane here, doing a little handheld camera action, and just thought I'd show you a little bridge slotting fixture that I just threw together yesterday, and I just decided to go ahead. I didn't film or record while it was happening, so I just thought I would do it like this and show you what happened. There are the two finished bridges, slotted to perfection. Oh well, and I'll leave them there. Just again, I showed them to you, but I was holding them in front of the camera rather than holding the camera on them. So you can see that this one in the bottom of the frame has a little more pointed pyramids than does the one above it. And this, like I said before, this is closer to the drawing than this one, but this one matches some of the old Martins I looked up closer, I think. Anyway, either one works, and and I still haven't put a little radius on the edge of this, but I'm only at 220 on those. I got to go to 320 anyway, at least. I'll probably maybe 400. I go to 600 if I'm feeling really uppity. So here's the jig, and I'll hold it up to where we can sort of see it from the end. All right, so I used material I had, which was 1/2 inch MDF, and I had a chunk that I squared it up to 8 inches or 9.5 inches by about 16 inches, and then I just decided to rip it in half at 8 inches. So I had two pieces that were 8 inches by 9.5 inches, and so this bottom piece is about 8 by 9.5. This piece and this piece on the other side are 3 inches by 9.5 inches, and I glued them down. Wood glue with some super glue in the middle of it and accelerator, so I was able to hold them in place for a while, and then they set, and then I clamped it and let that set for, an hour. Then I made this piece here, and that was still left over from the original part. I had to go find another piece floating around to make this one, but they're 1.75 inches by 9.5, and as you can see, I slotted them so they were adjustable. And then I put I put bolts through the back and wing nuts on top. Now, obviously, so you have to line this up to get it to go through my saw table. And I had a clamp over here holding the thing down when I was routing. So I designed it to work with this router, which is my Bosch, little Bosch laminate trimmer. I don't know if it rates as being a Colt or not. I'm not exactly, oh, it is a Colt. Look at that. And it's 1.25 horsepower. So it's a Mustang Colt. All right. And I made it fit that, and I have an 1/8 inch slot cutter in there. Now these saddles called for 100 thousandths on the plan, and if I give myself a little more, like that extra 25 thousandths, it gives me a little more to dial in the saddle for intonation. So I went wider. Plus, I didn't have a 1,000th cutter. Getting back to the little guide here, what I did was I taped the bridge in right there. I watched some other ones like Bo Hannon, and I forget, there was another one, but I don't remember the guy. And Bo's is he's got his setup so he can do like 3 different size bridges and all that, and it's got stops and all that stuff built into it. And he wedges it together with another board and all that. So you know what? It's just easy. I'm not doing these things like all day long where I've got to churn them out. So just double-sided tape, from Taylor Tools, IPG. If you have problems with double-sided tape because of residue and all that, get this stuff. IPG from Taylor Tools. Anyway, and every company makes like a bazillion different kinds of tape. So if you get the one from Taylor Tools, you won't have a problem with residue. The regular carpet tape does have a problem. I've used it for years, and when I found this, I knew I had struck it gold, struck it rich or struck gold. But Can't say it the other way. Anyway, so tape that down. I just put my router in here, set my depths, my end-to-end stops. The only problem is I don't have a plunge router that I wanted to tie up for this. I mean, I'm not tying this one up for it specifically, but my plunge router, I need a wider space. And anyway, I just decided to use that. Plus, my plunge router doesn't necessarily plunge straight. It has some play in the mechanism. So with this one, I seriously just, you know, leaned it up, started it, and then laid it into the project, and that worked out fine. I had to adjust 2 or 3 or 4 times per bridge to get the slot where I wanted it. Well, that's backwards. What else? Oh, I did test cuts. You can see that I did a center line, and then I did a 1/16 on either side of the center line so that I could line up my router on center and then measure over my 37 millimeters to get a 74-inch slot. What else did I do? I used this also to check my angle to make sure that was correct. Basically, it's an 1/8 inch on this end from the front to a fat 1/4 inch on this side. Maybe I should have measured it in millimeters, but I don't have a ruler in millimeters. I could have used my caliper, but I prefer to do some of this stuff with an actual rule. So this has already gone on longer than it needed to for what this is. After I decided what my angle here was going to be, I temporarily fixed it. You can see that line. It doesn't line up. So my original idea was off a little bit. And then I just had to put my router in here and adjust this up, slide it to the other end, adjust that up, clamp everything down good, and then it was ready to go. So it's pretty simple. And I made it wide enough in between here that even if and these are 1 inch wide, and I think the Gibson I have on the bench, I measured it was 1.5 inches, 1 9/16. So I put this at about 2 inches. I don't think I would ever run into a situation where I needed more than that. So this will accommodate me and the length's the same on the other bridge. So I think this will accommodate me for future builds as well. And if the slot changes, it is adjustable. So I didn't just nail it down and make it one way. I did, let me just mention this real quick. I kind of, like I said, I was just using stuff I had. So you can see that close there. I had to hang off the end of the thing in order to make that work. So if I was you and I was starting from scratch again, I would just go ahead and use a wider, bottom board, and which would probably necessitate using wider boards here, these sub pieces. Anyway, all right, I've rambled long enough. I hope you find that useful or interesting or whatever you like, and subscribe. Take care, folks. Bye.